Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far as Donny Temp takes the blame for another Legion defeat that extends their run of defeats all the way back to Major 2 in May in 2022 earlier this season, but also Clayster reckoning that Search and Destroy might play a lot better if smokes were in the game, but they can't due to one man abusing them every single time he drops into a Search and Destroy map. Hit the like button if you enjoy, subscribe if you're new as always, I'd greatly appreciate it, really helps out the channel. Thanks very much indeed for doing that one. Firstly to note, last night alongside the matches, there's also the Pro-Am qualifier this weekend. So all the amateur teams that aren't the pro teams, the top 4 of them, I don't exactly know how it works, like from North America, Europe, whatever, to determine which 4 teams actually get to go to the Pro-Am. But many North American teams are already getting eliminated here, and it's happening, of course, around the world as well. So last night, Doug, his team's actually still going in the Boston Academy. They beat Saints' team 3-0. They lost to Rokkr Academy 3-0. So, you know, they're top 12. They resume the qualifier tomorrow morning. So I think they have to get to probably top 3 or something before they get a shot to get into the Pro-Am. And, well, because Major 1 is a Pro-Am event with all the 12 teams get to go. That's why these qualifiers aren't that important for the pros. They're obviously important, but, you know, in previous times and for the future, this will determine whether you get to start in winners or whether you start in losers. Whereas this time, all the teams get to start in a group anyway and just have to make it out of the group. But, of course, the 4th team in that group will be an amateur team. And it might be Boston Beans. I mean, look at this clip that Beans gets here. Like, this is such a nice ace with the sniper rifle. And we know that, okay, the sniper's good, but it's not that easy to use. We see many shots missed with it by pro players. So, yeah, it's kind of funny. The pros moan about it, and then it turns out we don't even see that much action from the sniper in professional play. But, yeah, this is why Method is absolutely fried right now, and so is Awakening, because if they weren't, Beans would be coming in for them very quickly indeed. Crone's explaining for us here exactly how it does work. So the top 3, as I said, yeah, top 3 from NA, top 3 from EU, 1 from APAC and 1 from Latin America, will, after these qualifiers this weekend, will fly out to Raleigh, and before Raleigh, they'll play like a qualification match. So 8 teams go down to 4, and those are the teams that get into pool play. It's pretty cool stuff. They've got like a play-in basically that happens there against the 12 CDL teams. So you've got to be top 3 in these tournaments from the big regions today. These teams already gone. The 3rd seed, even the 7th seed, Wardy's team, right, with Saints, Decimate, Hamza, they're out of there. Even Fellows team already eliminated. So many big names, yeah, even Phantom's team, who's gone already as well. It's a pretty big name team. So yeah, all these teams will not be involved in the Pro-Am, and Doug is still in with a shout, but we'll see how that goes later on today. Let's dive into this Vegas series then, because man, this was like so predictable, honestly, watching the first couple of maps of this. I was just preparing the video for last night and watching game 1, game 2, and I was like, Vegas won the hard points, Florida won the search, like this has got such a 2-3-5 written all over it. Turns out that's exactly what happened, right? But even this familiar I thought was funny. It's still living rent-free in OpTic's head, and as I say, I can't blame it for living rent-free in their heads, this whole drama. But look, still, going into today's match against Florida, they've got to put it behind them and focus up and move forwards. Because look, if they come out of this week 1-1 OpTic, it's hardly the end of the world. But if this affects their match against Florida and Florida get another 2-3-5, like there's going to be questions. Even as iLLeY says though, Temp just scams that control. He had an SAE, didn't use it right. So yeah, implying that again, Cammy deliberately used the SAE to get the replay. I don't think that was the case, but it is still a problem in the game as it presently stands. Now it goes all the way to game 5. No real surprises here, to be honest. Lovely snipe actually here from Clay. Look at this. So yeah, the snipers are good fun to use. Like, look how cool this idea is. He uses the stun grenade to open the doors, gets the pick with the sniper. Like, that's just beautiful stuff. We love to see snipers in Search and Destroy for reasons like this, and Hotel is actually good to watch. Can you believe it? But yeah, so Vegas, they win the hard points, they lose the control. Florida go game 5, and this is the thing with Florida, right? And this is why this series is so crucial for Vegas to me. Like, Vegas, as it stands, are probably one of the better respawn teams. They're up there, probably top 5, top 6 respawn team in the game. But of course, you never really know from scrim results what their Search and Destroy is going to be like. And we know that Florida are a good search team, right? Florida are going to do this against any team. Florida can always pull out a 2-3-5. Doesn't matter who they're playing against, Florida have always got a 2-3-5 in their back pockets. And they pull it out here against Vegas. But, I mean, like, this was just ridiculous. Like, look at this situation. It's a 3 versus 2. They've got to hold down the bomb site. It looks like for all the money in the world, the Vegas are going to close out this round 5-2 and probably win the game. But for some reason, Temp decides just to run out the door. I don't know what he was thinking. Was he going for the knife? I mean, there's 19 seconds on the clock. This is pretty much an unlosable situation. Temp lost his head a bit, or I don't know what was going on here, but he just flies out the door, go for the knife on Vickle, gets taken down, and then TJ dies, and then all of a sudden, Prolute's left in an impossible situation. The bomb gets hopped, and he can't get the kill. Like, I have no idea how it was even possible for them to choke this round, but yeah, somehow they make it happen. It goes round 11, and then the round 11 was arguably even worse. Probably not as bad as that, But you guys look at this right here. So Temp comes through, he gets some shots done on Major Mania, gets stunned, manages to stun himself and then dies. Like, if he didn't do that and just got out of there, he probably would have been fine. And then look at this, Prolute comes through the door, dies. TJ comes through the door, dies immediately on his own. And then Clay comes through the door. At this point, it's impossible. And he dies as well. Like, it's actually just comedy watching this. They just threw that away so hard, Vegas. Must be really frustrating for them. And Mutineers actually had their own kind of watch party thing going on as well. So, yeah, I don't know. Florida, fair play. I actually think that Vegas might still be a better team than the Mutineers, but they just love a 2-3-5. And I do wonder if these 10 points down the line were actually pretty critical for Vegas, because that's the thing. They, as an organization, haven't won a match since May the 6th. Like, it's been a long time. They haven't won a single game in the Pro League apart from the Pro-Am since, like, Major 2. Like, absolutely tragic. And even this season, despite having looked good online in the scrims and stuff, they now start out the season 0-2, and they really feel like they should have won this series. And that's the thing with Vegas. Like, I think they can be a solid team at the start, but as time progresses, other teams probably will catch up and overtake them if they haven't already. And, you know, every 10 points is going to be crucial, because they are a team that is certainly in the conversation for not making the World Championship, and these 10 points down the line could be big. Last season, Vegas actually made quite a lot of Game 5s. I think they had like a 2-7 record last season in Game 5s, something really bad. And again, it's not starting off great for the Vegas boys. And look, Temp admits his mistake. I scammed hard round 11. I think he scammed harder, to be honest, a few rounds earlier. Should have just run away as soon as I saw the whole team. That's on me. GG's Florida. We lose 3-2. So we'll see if they can bounce back, but not an ideal 0-2 start for the season for Vegas. And Clay reckons that he's still got some stuff to learn. He reckons, yeah, probably my final chance on this team. Just wish I could perform better on a consistent basis. Feel like I have to be more selfish, who knows. Hopefully they can put it together. But yeah, Clay and Don have been playing okay. It's just, again, it's the SMGs, or what should be the SMG roles on this team, but aren't necessarily, because of the way the current meta is, that probably have to step up a little bit more than they presently are. And I thought this is funny, right? They put this up on broadcast, 211 days since Legion last won. And I think, well, May the 26th, it might even be earlier than that. Maybe it's May the 26th, maybe it's earlier. But yeah, I don't know. Regardless, it's a bad record. And yeah, the overall stats weren't looking good. And of course, now that's 212 and will be even longer until their next matchup. Fair play to Maniac, though. 1.37 KD this series. Usually known for being great in Search and Destroy, but he was killing it in the respawns as well. And yeah, Temp and Clayster, kind of the stats sheet you'd expect here from the Vegas guys, to be honest. And that's not really a great sign for their potential going into the rest of the season. Let's dive into this part of Search and Destroy then, right? Because they lost that surge. There's been some questions. Why are we not seeing smoke grenades, right? Because we saw the snipers make the return. The pros decided to un-GA them. And we also heard at the same time that smokes were going to be back. I think Kenny hinted at it, that they'd un-GA'd the snipers and they'd also un-GA'd the smokes. Now, we still don't see smoke grenades. Now, the pros don't like the smoke grenades. It's understandable. They don't work like a CSGO smoke grenade where it's completely opaque and it's very consistent in the way the smoke operates in Counter-Strike. In Call of Duty, for the realism and everything, the smoke is always a bit messy. You can kind of see through it in some senses. It's not a consistent, you know, just plume of smoke, basically. So it means that it can cause some difficulties. Now, smoke grenades, in theory, make for some really interesting possibilities in Search and Destroy. There are some bomb sites in this game that are pretty much inaccessible unless you have a smoke grenade in your back pocket, and the pros aren't using them right now. So Search and Destroy becomes very one-dimensional. The pros would like to use smoke grenades, but the problem is you can use them perfectly fine for using it across, you know, block off a line of sight and make a move with your team. But let's say you're in a bit of a tricky situation, 1 versus 1. What if you just drop a smoke grenade at the ground, run around in it, you know, make it really mixy? And this is kind of what Drazah has been known to do. We saw some drama between Drazah and the FaZe guys at the start of last season for a similar play that he made. And apparently this is what Drazah does all the time. Whenever they practice, like, I guess the teams have played scrims in Search and Destroy, probably less often than Respawn, but they have played some scrims between each other in Search, and Drazah is the key issue. Clayster says here, Drazah is the issue with this. You can do it 2 phase up, you know, should be double O, but whatever. So Clay's basically saying, look, we could have smokes in Search and Destroy, it would make it a better experience, but Drazah ruins it by abusing the smokes in this way, and he's been known to do this for quite some time, and the pros are like, we're not having Drazah abuse these smokes, because, you know, you can try and gentleman's agreement abusing the smokes, but it's the same way as you try and gentleman's agreement snaking. It doesn't really work. It's a game mechanic, and it's tough to actually ban something like that outright when, like, it's always difficult to tell if someone's actually done it on purpose or not, depending on the situation. So Drazah's like, you know, screw you guys, I don't care. If the smokes are allowed, I'm going to use them the way that I wish to use them, and therefore the pros are saying we're not going to use them for now. But it would be nice if they were back, but yeah, Drazah still catching some heat for this one, and maybe Vegas think that would help their Search and Destroy game if smokes were to return as well. A couple of other things to mention, because the OpTic forfeit obviously isn't going away, even this from Sasha. Don't let this distract you from the fact still don't have red dots on the minimap. One thing to mention also also on this though because of the OpTic series that actually wasn't uploaded on the YouTube channel. Now, Twitch has a rule where if you broadcast on Twitch as a partner or something, you have to wait 24 hours until you can upload that content on another platform. Now, most streamers don't really care about this, and they don't really seem to enforce it that much, but the Call of Duty League seems to be, because they waited pretty much precisely 24 hours before then putting up the matches on their YouTube channel. So it's good that they're there, it's good that they have the kind of, you know, the consistency of being able to get the Twitch viewership, but also, you know, the YouTube VODs are there for easy access as well, but they probably will have to wait 24 hours. The other thing to mention on the OpTic side is that this clip that came out from Hex's most recent vlog, where he talks about the jersey, and he says that, you know, it's a nice jersey, but they could have done a much nicer job had they had the creative freedom. So Hex still says there is some restrictions on this, but it didn't really seem to affect other teams that much.
Yo,
okay, so
what are your thoughts on everyone saying this is mid?
what are my thoughts on people saying that that's mid? Well, one, we were held under. Compare this to our apparel that we release on a daily. How can you say that this is the most fire ever and then that this is mid? I'm gonna tell you how. Because they put us in a box and they say this is what you can only draw on. You see this thing? You can only change the F and the E, and that's it. Why? No reason, just because those are the rules and rules must be followed. Do you know what we had originally? Excuse me.
Hoopies.
If we got the freedom to operate the way that we want to, it would be disgusting.
Amazing. Wait, is that the one that you showed me? Like
Yes.
yellow?
How sick was it?
Oh, it was, dude.
So what do you guys think about Hex's point here, right? Because, I mean, yeah, as he's saying, there's some restrictions. They can't exactly do what they want to do with the jersey. And it's probably a B-tier jersey that this tier list has it in. But some jerseys killed it, right? Like Ultra, you know, Los Angeles Good, I think is great. Mutineers, like they put a whole bloody Kraken on their thing. So, yeah, I don't really understand. There can't have been that many restrictions, because if there was, then the Mutineers wouldn't be able to do what they did. And the other teams have gone for some really varied ideas. So, yeah, I don't exactly know what Hex is talking about there, but his argument might have more validity if other teams didn't do a much better job. I'm sure like he has some point there, but I don't know. What do you guys think in the comment section below on that one? And just to mention before we close out and look at the matches for today, I was mind blown yesterday. I thought that the viewership we got on day one was probably just because it was day one. But yesterday, I was sitting there watching Vegas versus Florida, and it had like 100,000 views. I was like, what is actually going on here? This game would be, even opening weekend of last season, that would be maybe a 40k max game on YouTube. And in the later half of the season, that's like a 20k, 25k match. But it had like 100,000 viewers. So it's really awesome to see, to be honest. It's impressive stuff. And thankfully yesterday, like it was actually smooth sailing. I was hoping that the day one drama and the chaos of actually, you know, all the broadcast issues would turn people off. But still a lot of people seem to come back for day two, and probably a lot of new fans as well. Which hopefully that's the case, because I think it's really good for the scene. And yeah, I don't know. Twitch to me has been more impressive so far than I thought it would be, this move over the past few days, and it's not actually so bad to watch as I remembered it being, to be perfectly honest. So hopefully this keeps up. Of course, like it's early season, it's in December, these numbers are going to be high, but just seeing numbers like this makes me pretty optimistic that by the time we get to Major 1, and certainly even the World Championship, like we can absolutely kill it this year. But very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comments section below. These are the matches for today, some really good ones to be honest. LAG London, so both these teams 1-0, I'm probably going to favour London. Texas Florida, we need to see the regain from OpTic, right? The thing is, London are playing during the England-Senegal match. So, I mean, I don't really know what the seeding I think in there, to be honest, because I probably won't be watching this. As I say, OpTic need to hit the regain. I think that OpTic should probably win this one 3-1, but if it does go game 5, I mean, look, we know that Florida are always going to be a deadly team in those Search and Destroys. Then Thieves FaZe, like, what a banger series. Rematch of the Grand Finals from the World Championship. But FaZe just didn't impress me in their game against Boston, and Thieves impressed me a fair bit up against Vegas. So, yeah, I'm going to say that Thieves win this one. And then Toronto, New York. New York just looked so lifeless yesterday. I've got to take Toronto, and I think many are hoping for a bit of a scrappy interview after this one. But very much enjoyed your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Take care, and I'll see you next time.